Hey guys, what's up? Breeze Cannon here, and today I am showing you my Pantheon 3 completion with only charms. As you can see, I'm using the usual um, Silk Song, not freaking Silk Song, I wish. Weaver Song and Grub Song for soul, to get soul, then everything else for damage. You already know what I use. Now, this is only my second time fighting Hive Knight with only charms, just because, again, it took 2 attempts to beat this in the first place, to beat this Pantheon in the first place, which is actually a bit less than I was expecting, because, you know, this is like the Pantheon that actually has like a tough arsenal of people, or bosses. I mean, obviously not all of them are like super hard, but you know, there are some that are like I may or may not be able to get past them. But yeah, it took less attempts than I thought. I definitely had to practice a few though, because like I said, it's some people are pretty tough. And then there's Elder Hugh, who is really just annoying. Probably one of the most annoying bosses in the game for me. But it is what it is. Yeah, one of the most annoying bosses, in my opinion. Now, I actually didn't practice the Collector outside of doing this Pantheon. It was more, I guess, like an improvised strategy at the moment, which was kind of just obviously kill all the small people. I was not going to depend on my minions to kill the small people for me, so I was just like, I'll do it myself. And kind of just let them focus on him more. Because if there's anything that damages me in this fight the most, it's the people he spawns. Even though they're all, like, low-tier enemies. Which, thankfully, they're all low-tier enemies. I can't imagine this fight if he, like, spawned some, like, late-game enemies. Like the little hoppers, I guess the final version of the aspids. I will say the one thing that like makes this challenge so much more easier is the synergy between Grub Song and Weaver Song, in which I get soul every time the spiders hit somebody. Like almost after every fight, I simply just have like, yeah, full soul almost the entire time, because since I'm not using magic, like, it's so easy to, you know, just heal afterwards, because I'm basically full by the time it happens. So it's definitely made this challenge a lot more easier than I expected. And then I don't have any main troubles with this boss. I guess the only thing that I guess annoys me about this boss is how many times the big guy spits. Sometimes he just decides to spit like a million times, and it's the most annoying thing in the world. I mean, other than that, not tough. Oh my gosh. Yeah, looking at it, that's exactly why this boss is probably annoying to me. It's because of the rapid spit he sometimes freaking does. Yeah, that entire, I guess, 10 seconds of him just spitting everywhere was so painful. And then there's Grim. Honestly, I haven't fought in the regular version of Grim in so long. I've only fought his, like, within, like, the past, like, 2 months of playing this game, I had only fought in his Nightmare version and the modded version. So it felt, I guess, a little awkward fighting him again regularly, or his regular form, because I've had so much, I guess, experience and practice fighting his harder forms. It was kind of like, well, sounded like, well, this is how it was, huh? This is how it really be. Yeah, it's not even a hard fight anymore because I've done it so much. So I guess the more annoying thing about it is that it just takes so long because he's basically like teleporting the entire time. Another thing I contemplated doing was overcharming, because you know I've discovered doing that. I mean I do it in some of the Radiant stuff I do. But I was like, I'm not gonna overcharm on this, on the Pantheons, only because I'm not confident in my ability to live if I took double damage from certain people. For example, this fight, I don't think I get hit too much, but I do get hit quite a bit in some of the later bosses in this Pantheon. To where I was like, yeah, there would be no way I would have defeated this if I overcharmed. So, glad I didn't make that decision. I guess another annoying thing about this fight is that for some reason the minions aim for his spinning stuff. I guess those count as attackable enemies for some reason. So the minions target those, which is kind of just weird. It's just a weird fact. Now this Zoe was the make or break of this run. He was the one who took me out the first time I went in this Pantheon. He destroyed me. I'm just gonna simply admit I got destroyed when I came into this fight. Like, I did not last that long. Zoe is one of those bosses that is like so absurd in an annoying way, and in a way that is hard. He's definitely one of the harder bosses. I'm not gonna say he's one of the hardest bosses, but he's definitely around that area somewhere. Simply because, and I'm just gonna tell it straight, he was the only one in this Pantheon that I genuinely had to practice with, because I couldn't even beat him in Attuned. Yeah. I couldn't even beat him in Attuned. So it was quite literally just like a pretty high chance of me dying, just because his assortment of moves is so hard to kind of dodge with his minions and his, I guess, random antics, and not being able to kill them, kind of just fully relying on my minions to do the damage to basically everything around me. Yeah. This fight was a mess, but I managed it. I might do Radiant attempts for this boss, but to be fair, I'm not very confident. Just because, like I said, this fight is just one of those fights where, like, it might be genuinely, like, impossible to Radiant with only charms, at least. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's no Radiance or anything, but he's still hard. I had forgotten this boss during the attempt. I had forgotten this boss was in this Pantheon. I thought he was in the fourth one for some reason. So when I saw this come up, I had to take a quick breather and actually pause the game, because I was hella stressed out. I mean, if you already can tell, because of his uniqueness and the way you have to defeat him, it's tough. I would say especially because of the charms that I have. Remember, when I did this fight on Radiant, literally the charms that I had were experimenting with kind of made the fight harder. Dream Shield was one of those charms, because the jellyfish can actually run into the Dream Shield when they're going to explode. So, like, they can run into the Dream Shield and explode off of the Dream Shield. So that was one charm that I didn't like using in this fight. And then Grim was another one, just because I couldn't really direct his shots at the jellyfish. With the spiders, I could kind of like direct them towards the jellyfish, As you can see, like I was trying to do, or kind of did, because you know they fall on the jellyfish and hit them, kind of. But Grim will, like, if I get close to him, as you saw, he just tried to freaking smack a jellyfish when I wasn't really like ready to do it. So yeah, another charm that doesn't really help in this fight. Well, that was unfortunate. Yeah, I would say I got pretty unlucky on this one. But, I mean, with my experience doing it on Radiant, I think that's what really helped me manage it. And then there's Hornet. And Hornet is Hornet. I did this on Radiant, so I wasn't really too worried about this fight at all. And then there's the last fight, which is Sly. Now, Sly, if you haven't seen the vid, was one of the first bosses that I did on Radiant with this challenge. I forgot how many tries it took me. I mean, I could look, but I'm just saying that I've done this fight on Radiant with only charms, so I was not worried at all with dying. I was like, I'm pretty sure I can handle it. If I can do this fight on Radiant, I highly doubt that I would die to him with as much health as I have now. So I was like, yeah, I got this in the bag. Yeah, on this last part, it's literally just dodging the attack and just letting the minions do the work. No need to do anything extra. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Pantheon 3 with only charms. It's definitely a pretty fair roster. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you will, also subscribe. Just trying to post as much as I can, you know, a little different from what I usually do, but still do it anyways. And have a good day.